Welcome, family. This is the Velvet Locks with another video for you. This video, I want to talk about the health issues that you are left with when you've been dealing with a narcissist. Okay? Now, the reason I'm speaking about this is because I've gotten quite a few emails regarding the after effects that these women and men are left with after they've been in a relationship with a narcissist. But depending on how long you've been with a narcissist can really be traumatic. And in this stage, this is called trauma bonding. Okay, trauma bond. Trauma bond is the after effects, is the issues that you are psychologically displaying, that you are psychologically doing. Okay, what you're left with. Okay, the hurt, the brokenness, that's basically it, the brokenness. And through this brokenness, you can actually end up with a lot of different types of health issues. Now, I'm going to go through certain types of after effect issues that you are left with and certain things that you can actually get from dealing with a narcissist. All right, and this is dealing with mental health. So just know that when you're dealing with someone like this, it is not the same as a failed regular relationship. This is completely far deeper, far worse. Okay? And it can also cause a lot of different health issues in you. So let's go through some of the health issues that you can be left with. Now, first I'm going to start off with the mental disorders that you can actually get from a narcissist. Most narcissists, if anything, all narcissists have PTSD. PTSD is a post-traumatic stress disorder. That stress disorder is just that. It's a disorder that's put on you by being in a stressful situation from your past. And it could even be from your present that you end up getting PTSD, which means now you're pretty much emulating the narcissist. The same types of mental behaviors, outbursts, shortness of patience. These are things that you can end up getting. Not to mention anxiety. What I'm hearing mostly about in the emails that I'm getting is a lot of you ladies and men are left with anxiety. That is a normal reaction because you've been in a traumatic situation. After dealing with the narcissist, like I said, that's called trauma bond. That's the issues that you are left with. The pollution, the toxic behavior, disorders that you're left with. Because when you were with them, you were always on edge. You was always on eggshells. You was always walking on eggshells. You didn't know what to expect. You didn't know what mood they were in. They were constantly passive aggressive. One minute they're this way, next minute they're that way. So you're always tense. You're always stressed. So you not knowing what to expect causes anxiety. Okay? The way in which they crush your spirit. Okay? These cause after effects that, if not treated, can also lead to you behaving in a narcissistic way. Another health issue is depression, because you've been waited on. Okay? You've been crushed. You've been beat up on mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically. Not to mention the after effects of dealing with the lies and the deceptions, feeling anxious, full of anxiety, not knowing how to be yourself anymore. Loneliness. Even though they were a negative influence in your life, them not being there is a void, that emptiness in your life, which can cause depression. Okay, you not being able to relate to society, be yourself anymore, not knowing who you are, can lead to depression situation. You've been broken. Okay, so all of this are mental health issues that you can also get while dealing with the narcissist. Now let's talk about sleep disorders. Insomnia is really another part of the abusive after effects that you can get. Restlessness, unable to sleep, unable to calm your mind. You might be left with a lot of broken pieces, a lot of brokenness inside of you that you don't know how to push past. Some of you can't sleep at night. You're restless. You're nervous. You don't know what to expect. Your mind is constantly thinking, sometimes revisiting, reliving, thinking about all of the things you've been through. Not knowing how to release and move forward and push past those thoughts. So those thoughts could even keep you up at night, okay? Make you restless even during the daytime. And unless you get help after being with a narcissist, you can be left scarred for life with all of these different types of things that can affect your future. So yeah, sleeping disorders is another health issue that you can get from dealing with the narcissist. Another one is fear, a phobia. Once they broke you, once they've crushed you, once they've manipulated and beat it up on you emotionally, physically, you have a fear, probably a fear of even losing them to the new supply. The fear of them walking out of your life, even though they've been the worst thing possible to you. And so badly abused that you fear losing the devil. You fear losing that person that caused you all the hurt and pain. Some of you may even be left with Stockholm Syndrome, where you have learned how to deal with that type of disorder, where you've submitted yourself to their abuse. So now you're adapting and kind of going along with it, even though you know you don't need to be in that type of relationship. You know it's bad for you. So a phobia of losing them, a phobia of being by yourself, a fear of what they may do to you. These are all emotions that can really play out a lot on your mind. So yeah, you can be left with a phobia, a fear of anything, a fear of them popping up, a fear of them hurting you. These are different types of fears that a narcissist abuse victims can be left with. Now, your self-esteem. Once being abused by a narcissist, depending on how bad they've abused you, because some situations are worse than others, you might be left with self-esteem issues now, because this is how they are. This was how they are. They have low self-esteem. So with all of the traumatic things that you've been through, you now have low self-esteem because of the battery, the constant putting you down, beating up on you, verbally, making you feel inadequate. And then also being left, being discarded, being thrown away. That can play a lot on your self-esteem. Yeah, you can be left with low self-esteem issues, and pretty much that's like the narcissist. They have very low self-esteem. Let's talk about paranoia. You might be paranoid over anything. You might even be paranoid over everything when it comes to that. You might be scared to leave your house. Some of you. You might be constantly looking over your shoulders when you're out and about, not knowing when these jokers might try to pop up. I just got an email today from a young lady who mentioned that after 4 years of being narcissist free, being out of that bad relationship, that one day at a gas station, her ex-narcissist decides to roll up on her, okay? And he pretty much jumped her. He badgered her. He came after her. And it got so bad to the point where she had to go and get a restraining order on him. All right? So these narcissists, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure those of you who've been out of your relationships for years can testify to the fact that at some point in time after being out of that relationship that you've seen, heard, or even they tried to contact you in some way, or even through their family, they tried to reach out to you. So just know that a narcissist is not something that you can just get away from all right away. Even if you've been discarded, okay? They're always constantly looking and waiting and wondering, trying to see if there's a way that they can actually try to come back in. And it could be years after you've been broken up with them. Then all of a sudden, whatever that supply was that they thought was better on the other side didn't work out. So now they're going back through their little life Rolodex and trying to see who they can come back to and devour. All right? Just like the devil roaming about, seeking whom he can devour. Well, so is a narcissist. That's why I said it's a demonic spirit. All right? So even after being discarded or you leaving the relationship, they're constantly thinking of ways of getting back into your life at some point in time, depending on what stage and what's going on in their life. So always expect it. So yeah, paranoia might be an issue with you. You might not know how to be strong and, deal with certain situations. You might be fearful even for your family, even for your pets. If you're in this situation with a narcissist, just know that's normal, but you definitely have to get help for it. You've got to get help for it. So yeah, paranoia might be another problem you're dealing with after dealing with the narcissist. Okay, let's talk about more physical illnesses or disorders that you can get. Let's talk about the high blood pressure. Okay, I mentioned in my first video or so how I was so stressed out in that relationship that even after I've helped and healed that narcissist through natural ingredients to bring down his high blood pressure to zero, I mean not to zero, but bring it down to normalcy, as well as get rid of his diabetes completely. But being in such a stressful relationship, always walking on eggshells, always being on that edge, your blood pressure is going to spike. And you got to be really careful, because that can lead to so many other fatal things. You can end up with heart attacks. This is why I say being in a relationship with a narcissist can take you out. It can take you out. It can cause you an early death, because you are constantly stressed, and that's not normal. Your body's not made to be living like that. And your pressure can go so high to the point where it takes you out. You can get a stroke dealing with a narcissist. So be very mindful of your health issues, okay? From being in that relationship. You might be, like I said, with the after effects, with the depression, with the anxiety, with the paranoia, with the insomnia. These are stressful things that your body is holding. So yeah, high blood pressure. Now with being stressed out, that can lead to so many other health issues in your body. It can also lead to cancers. When your body is stressed out, it can lead to these type of fatal illnesses. Illnesses that deteriorates your body. Your body's not meant to constantly be on edge. This is how they live. This is why they are who they are. But you being in such a dysfunctional relationship, now you have been conditioned, being stressed out. You then take on their form. You hear me? You are now becoming like them the longer you're in a relationship like that. It's subtle ways that it is brought on you. So just know that cancers is a dangerous thing. It's dangerous. It can deteriorate your body. It can deteriorate your mind. So the faster you leave that relationship, the more likely you are not to have these type of illnesses later on. So yes, you can get cancer out of nowhere because you're stressed out. Now, let's talk about the eating disorders. Okay? Some of you haven't even thought about that. Maybe you can't eat because of all of these other things. Stress can also lead you not to eat. When I'm stressed out, I can't eat. Some people eat when they're stressed out. With me, I can't. That's just who I am, how I am, and it's always been that way. I mean, a stress diet, you can lose weight just like that. Okay? But it's not a healthy way of losing weight. You become very frail, very malnourished. If you're not taking care of yourself and you're so stressed out that you can't eat, that you're just pretty much nibbling just for the sake of having something in your stomach, it can lead to a lot of other health problems in your body. So yes, you might have some eating disorders because of that problematic relationship. One of the major health problems, health issues that you can actually have are sexually transmitted diseases. I've heard your stories where some of you have gotten herpes because of these nasty demonic people who are constantly out there sleeping around with multiple people. STDs, gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV, AIDS. Because these little nasty behinds, they don't use protection when they're out there. And if you're in a situation where that's your husband or your wife, imagine, and then they're bringing that back home to you. So some of you have gotten sexually transmitted diseases that you can't even get rid of because of these people. Lastly, there's a lot of physical things that can happen to you that you're not even aware of, or that you never thought was possible. Because your body is under so much stress, you guys, you can start having physical pains in your bodies. Aches and pains, joints and muscle problems, headaches, aneurysms. You think aneurysms just pop out of nowhere? Stress is the major contribution to a lot of health issues in your body. And it can help to accelerate those health issues in your body as well. So the faster you get out of these type of relationships, when it comes to being in a relationship with a narcissist or a toxic individual, the better off and the longer life you have to live. I highly recommend that once being out of that person's life, seek some medical attention for yourself. First of all, get a complete physical. That's number one. Because I never knew that ex-narc was out there sleeping around with other women. And I'm sure a lot of you felt the same way too. So the first thing you need to do is get a health physical. Complete blood workup, everything. Next would be to seek medical help as far as mental health. Seek out a therapist. Nothing is wrong with therapy. You need to get over this problem. And if it means speaking to somebody, then do so. Speaking to a professional. Your healing starts once you left that relationship. Okay? Because these people are nasty. So you guys, like I said, be very careful. Be very alert. And if you need to get an order of protection and a restraining order from that person just to stop them from aggravating you, stressing you out, causing issues in your body, do what's necessary, okay? And also, like I said, I will list down my email address. Continue sending me your emails. Continue sharing your experience, because we're going to make this narcissist awareness viral. Because the more people that are educated on this, the better off. The earlier signs that you see, the better off. Because you are left with so many different types of stressed out emotions. Because in the state of disarray and confusion, you're not focusing on what's going on. But it's not until you bump into videos like this that then start opening your eyes to what's going on. All right? So you guys, thank you so much for sharing with me your experiences. And let's continue this discussion, because I have so much more coming your way on these type of peoples. All right? So until the next video, you guys, I will see you then.